Welcome to the world of Joan. And you hear the movies, you see the movies there where zombies, and more zombies. And people wrote, fantasize about all these things. But I want to tell you what. What if it does happen? What if it does happen? What's in the Bible says the dead will rise. Now everybody's assuming it's zombies. It said the dead will walk the earth. Does that mean our family's going to come back to see us and they have us for a snack? We'll tell you what are we going to do? All this stuff that we're preparing for on things, a lot of that's going to go out the window. The bugging out stuff is gone for now because if it does happen, you've got these people who was once your family and friends wanting you for dinner. And yes, they are. You're going to be doing this. This is what you're going to be seeing. That's right. You're going to be seeing people like this. Yes. And that is not a compliment thought. I sure don't want to see you like it. But I'll set aside from joking. If shtf Zombie Day does attack and does happen, we may not be very well prepared after all. Now, there's those who does have the support to defend themselves far better than I do. I don't have that type of a support because I really don't have the money to invest into that. So I have to depend on this to get me through. So the thing is, if Zombie Day SHTF does happen, many of the things that we prepared ourselves for is going to go out the window. So you need to think, is your home secure? Do you have, on my list here, my friend that I talked to, and I've known him for years, I told him things I want. And he goes, okay, he humored me. But you know what? I want some plywood. I want him to fix it where I can take and secure the windows with like a hole in it or something other where I can kind of see out, but fix it where they would be secure. I want to change my doors out for metal doors if it's all possible down the road, or stronger wooden doors, or with the metal gate on it to lock in. Also, I've got to figure out how I'm going to have water and food. So I told him I wanted a couple of rain barrels built down in the basement so I can make soap and stuff. But also I can use the rain barrels for food and use a filtering system. There's several different ways of filtering. So you need to check into all of that as well. And then you got to have your backup candles and your backup food and things like that. You got to be willing to eat things you would never thought you was willing to eat before. And you got to learn how to survive. Because I'm going to tell you what, if it does happen, as the Bible says, the dead will walk the earth. And if one of these zombie outbreaks happen, one of these viruses does happen like it says it might, just like anything, you might not be able to get out of town so easy. People, you're going to, before, you're going to see chaos. And then you're going to have family and friends that was once your family and friends is not anymore. You're going to have to shoot them or chop their heads off or whatever it is you got to do to destroy them, because this is the truth, they're going to destroy you. I don't want it to happen. I watch a lot of zombie movies, but you know what? Some of them really tears my nerves up pretty bad. But it keeps me real up here. It keeps me thinking, well, what if? What if something does happen? I don't see zombies around every corner. I'm not one of those. I just like science fiction and horror movies. But you know what? Also, when I watch them, I think about it, whether it's a virus outbreak, whether it's a zombie movie, whatever it is. The thing is, you see these vampire movies, because, oh, none of that happens. There ain't no demons. We don't know what's out there. We really don't. Things that kept kind of, how when you sweep the carpet and you lift and put the dirt underneath it so your parents wouldn't know. And then they come home, they start seeing this little pile and the edge building up because you've been sweeping the dirt up underneath the carpet. That's kind of the way we do. We just kind of sweep things underneath the carpet. And we really don't want to accept a lot of that could happen. And that's what's going to happen with most people. When this SHT Zombie Day happens, if it does happen, it's going to be the same principle as any SHT, except it's going to be a little bit different this time because you're not just dealing with a virus outbreak where people just drop dead or whatever it is, unfortunately. you're dealing with people who's coming back alive and they're hungry, and for they're up here is saying, feed me because my body's deteriorating or whatever it is, or whatever kind of virus it is. It's turned them very aggressive. They could still be, alive, but at the same time the disease is just destroying them and destroying their brain, and you're forced to make a choice. It's either you or your, you know, you or them, so you can't think twice on it. So, and then of course, though, you're going to have to deal with these other renegades out there who is going to take advantage of this thing. They decide, well, I'm Lord, I'm God, and I'm going to take the young women or whatever, it don't matter, and I'm going to take the young men and put them in my group. The rest of y'all are no good. I don't need you. I want to discard you or put you to death or whatever. I was watching one movie, and it really disturbed me. At the fact is that uh, people would come on this island and try to get away from things, trying to get away. So what they would do is he decided who lived and who died on this island, who was useful on the island. And he had lost one of the doctors, and this one of the gentlemen was a doctor, and there was a woman. So he kept the woman because he has a daughter who he kept, was the only female on the island, so he kept her. But what he was doing and what he told the doctor, here's what they was doing. They was making choices on people who was useful, who not. So what they would do is while that person was alive, they would cut their leg off uh, for food. People, they was eating the other people because they didn't want the food to go bad, the meat go bad. If it got contaminated, if the person died, then the contamination would happen. So they didn't want. So they would slowly cut that person up a piece at a time until there was enough, till the person finally died, and then they disposed of the remains. So you're looking at what would happen in a situation like that. It's still going to be chaos. People are still going to be going crazy. They're still telling you to go to these rescue places. If you watch Walking Dead, you've seen in the first episode where he went to Atlanta to follow this so-called beacon stuff, whatever. And of course, by the grace of God, out of nowhere, he finds his family. Now the chances of that is really slim to none, because it it's just that's just how it is. But the thing is, when he goes there, he's finding all these other happy little guests that's not human anymore. So and the thing is too, another thing, they're sitting there talking about starving to death. These people saying, well, we're starving to death, we're needing food. The problem is none of them knew how to live off the land. So if it does happen and SHT zombie day happens, what are we going to do? Are we prepared? Are our homes kind of prepared? I know my home's not prepared strong enough. I'm going to tell you now, because right now my funds don't allow it. Down the road, as I can get on my feet more and I have more money coming in, and I can have my things fixed around the house like I want to get it fixed and reinforced. I will indeed have it more reinforced to sustain myself. And I do want the rain barrels built rather there in my basement. I like to have a couple built outside, inside a shed, a garage like deal, so the public can't see it because of the so-called water regulations. But I can build these filter systems rather cheaply, and create it where the water can get filtered out, so and eliminate stuff. And then of course, then you can take the water and still boil it to kill any other added germs and still filter it again. So you got to think different on this if it does happen, and these diseased people who are either dead or alive or whatever, and they're coming for you for dinner, so that SHT bugging out thing is going out the window, because now you can't get out the door because they're everywhere. Now if you live in a smaller town, you probably stand a better chance to get out, but then you got to figure out what to wear for protection, because they're going to have you for dinner. So then you got to figure out. I was telling a friend of mine I wanted some hockey masks and stuff down the road eventually, and he thought I was crazy. Well, and my son too. We was talking about it too. I wanted all these things, but of course my son kind of thinks more like I do on some of this, but his is a little bit more extreme in different areas compared to mine. I also was talking about something about motorcycle helmets or whatever you had to do. They said, well, my son said the motorcycle helmets are too heavy. But I'm going to tell you what, it's better than nothing. But then you got to think about wearing, padding. You can take your hands and wrap it, scarves or extra shirts or whatever, wrap your legs up and duct tape, whatever it is, and create something to, protect your hands and your face and stuff. So you got to think along that line too. So what am I going to do? I'm going to leave this house because you got to think about the disease spreading. You got to think about you want to get outside of the town. Then you got to think about where are you going to go. It isn't just a question of going and living in the woods. Then you got to figure out where am I going to go to be protected. So then you need to look at homes and houses when you're out somewhere and look at these places, away from other places and think that that would be suitable for me because it's a well built home. It's got a security fence, a wall, whatever. So you got to start thinking in that line, like, the National Guard fence in areas or where there was businesses and stuff, even the prison, the police station. You got to think on this thing. You got to think different if something like this happens. So you've got to decide what you're going to do. Do you have a seeds, as a backup to raise your own food indoors? You're going to have to figure out, do you have a greenhouse like a thing built onto your house where you can raise it inside? Do you have a filtering system? It's something to think about. So if the zombie okay, sorry, the shtf does happen on zombie day, like I said. What? And I lost my zombie mask, so I can't go scare you again. Yes, I can. So if the shtf zombie day happens and you're facing this again, like I said, this could be your loved one that you're going to have to decide on that's no longer your loved one. You're going to have to get rid of that loved one because that loved one is going to eat you up. So you've got to think about things. So if shtf zombie day does happen, are you prepared for that type of outbreak? Not just Mother Nature, not just man-made stuff, not just all that. If it does come true, as the Bible says, the day that the dead will walk the earth, are you prepared for shtf zombie day? I know I'm not. I'm definitely not. So I want to be. So I hope I am. If it does happen down the road, I hope I am prepared. My goal is to get out in the country and move out there, and then as I get more and more into my preparing things, I get looking at homes and things that the Lord my area and all a while. And I am going to look at houses more and look at areas more and think about what I could maybe get out in the country, hopefully, and buy my own home out there and prepare myself. So you know what? It's something to think about. Like I said, zombie day could be around in the next 10 years or so. We just don't know. With all these diseases and our immune system's going downhill because of all the side effects and us getting so codependent on stuff. Oh well, so let's hope not. But I know I'm not prepared. So we'll just, by the grace of God, just hope I get through it. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I turn in one of those things, you better shoot me. Because I'm gonna have you for dinner. So from the world of Joe, be safe, be happy. Bless you all.